Welcome to the Healing While Discovering Yourself podcast. I'm your host, Andrea Michelle. I'm an intuitive transformational coach, certified life coach, certified NLP practitioner, and speaker. I've spent the last 22 plus years helping myself and my clients learn how to create their own happiness and live more abundant lives. In this time, I've also overcome and healed from child sexual molestation, a compulsive eating disorder, hunger, and homelessness. Now it's your turn to move forward with your life and heal from childhood traumas or past experiences. In this podcast, I'll share how I was able to overcome all of my past struggles, as well as my personal stories of overcoming jealousy, loneliness, resentment, and bitterness, and how I learned to forgive. I'll also help you explore your shadow self, deal with having low or no self-esteem, and address feelings of not being worthy or loved. Using my personal experiences and extensive training, as well as stories of grief, loss, depression, and anxiety from my guests, I'll help you change your life and finally heal. Hey, loves. Welcome back to another amazing episode of the Healing While Discovering Yourself podcast. The purpose of this podcast is to normalize the healing process. And what that means is I have this desire where we get used to seeing people crying and used to seeing people disappointed and used to seeing people frustrated without judging them, right? Because all of us have experienced some sort of trauma or unpleasant experience in our lives. And one of the ways that we began to heal from our unpleasant experiences or our trauma is actually seeing other people who have the same or similar lived experiences heal from theirs. And that gives us the opportunity or the hope to know that if this person has healed from this shared or similar experience, then surely I can also heal from it. And so that is the purpose of the Healing While Discovering Yourself podcast. But not only is it about just normalizing the healing process, but it's also about healing while still moving forward, right? Because a lot of us, we think, or I guess I'll speak for myself, for a long time, I thought, especially as I was climbing the corporate ladder, taking on more responsibilities, making more money, having, greater expenses around my house, having children, getting married, then having children and all of that, I thought, okay, wait a minute. I have to put my healing and whatever else that I'm dealing with on the back burner because, I'm hustling right now. I'm grinding. And for the record, I no longer believe in like the hustle and grind, but I was, in my late 20s, early 30s, hustling and grinding and, all of that to get all of the things. But I thought that in order for me to have all the things that I couldn't focus on my own healing, but little did I know was once I began healing, then I no longer needed to hustle and grind because my healing is in alignment with my highest self. And when you are in alignment with your highest self, then things become effortless. And I know that now. And so right now in my life, my number one priority is actually healing myself. I get up every day and I examine myself and search every part of me to figure out, is there something there that needs to be healed, right? Is there a block there? Is something holding me back? Is something preventing me from doing whatever it is that I want to do? And if I do have like a dream, a desire, or a goal, and, it seems like it's not happening, the first thing I do is take a step back and observe myself, observe my thoughts. And sometimes when things don't happen in the timing that I think that they should, it's not that there's any block or anything. It's just that it's just not the time for that, right? And that's okay. And I've learned how to be okay with that. So I just wanted to share that really is the why and the intention behind the Healing While Discovering Yourself podcast, and is why I show up every week for you. So today, this is going to be a relatively short episode, but then again, I always go into each episode saying it's going to be relatively short. Well, I don't always, because nothing is always or never, right? But in my mind, when I plan out these episodes, it's always like, okay, this episode should be about, 10 minutes, 15 minutes. I don't think I've ever had like a 10 or 15 minute podcast episode. Maybe one day. just not right now. And I think y'all appreciate that because I always make every attempt to give you what I'm feeling in my spirit and nothing more or nothing less. And so sometimes these episodes are 20 minutes. Sometimes they're 30 minutes especially if I have a guest, they're 45 or 50 minutes or whatever. And the episodes that are longer than that, I try to break them into two parts. But anyway, today I want to talk to you about love and hate. And I want you to know that when you surrender to what is and let go of what is not, then you become a truly empowered being. And the reason why I want to talk about love and hate is because, sometimes we have a tendency to act like hate is a terrible thing. Hate is a bad thing. And I know when I was growing up, we couldn't say the word hate in my family. To my mother, the word hate was a bad word. Hate was just like shit or fuck or bitch. I'm just saying, y'all know I don't use curse words in my daily language, only for demonstrative purposes. But when I was growing up, we couldn't say hate. Well, we couldn't say shut up either. We couldn't say stupid. We couldn't say dumb. So there are quite a few words that we couldn't say. Some of them I actually carried into my parenthood with my children. Like I don't like for them to say shut up. It just sounds so rude. And for a long time, I told them that they couldn't use the word hate. And then as I continued on my healing and self-discovery journey, I was like, but why can't they use the word hate to them? If they hate is not a bad word. Hate is just an expression of how they're feeling in the moment. And when I tell them that they can't say, oh, I hate something, then basically I am minimizing how they feel in the moment. And so now they're allowed to use the word hate. And thankfully I caught this or recognized this years ago. So they can now say, oh, I hate this and I hate that. And now what I do when they use the word hate is I talk to them and say, oh, okay, so what do you hate about this? And right. So that they can process, because when they use the word hate, it means that they feel very strongly about something. And again, I believe that there's no such thing as good emotions or bad emotions, right emotions or wrong emotions. I fundamentally believe that emotions are carriers of information. And when you deny an emotion, you are denying the valuable information, which is why when my children say they hate something, I'm always talking to them to figure out, okay, what really is going on? So, we kind of look at hate as if it's this terrible thing. And I want you to know that the way that we overcome hate is with love, because hate is simply the absence of love. And if you find yourself hating something, remember that the reason why you are hating something is because it's missing love. And then in that moment, or whenever you have a moment to become present again, make every attempt to find your way back to love. And y'all know that I'm a very practical individual, right? I don't believe that you can go from hate to love like that, because they're on two opposite ends of the pole, right? There's the emotion, right? And then there's the duality, love and hate. They are the exact same thing, just on different spectrums, just on different ends of the pole. Polarity meaning one, duality meaning two, or two extremes, right? And so it's not that hate is necessarily a bad thing. hate is just simply the absence of love, right? And when we surrender to the idea that hate is just the absence of love, then we can make our way to first neutrality or center. And then once we make our way to neutrality or center, then we can move towards love, right? So instead of making this jump from hate to love, we can simply say, okay, what came before hate, right? What did I feel before I got to hate? Well, I felt anger, right? Okay. So then from hate, let's move to anger. And then we can sit in that anger and process that and all of the things that come along with that. And then we can say, okay, what did I feel before I was angry? Okay, maybe I felt frustration, right? And then we move to frustration and we sit with the frustration. Then what did I feel before frustration? Okay, I felt sadness. And what before sadness? I felt disappointment. And what did I feel before disappointment? I felt hope, right? And so now we're making our way from hate. Once we felt disappointment, and right before disappointment, what did we feel? We felt hope, right? Which is why when the thing didn't happen or when it didn't follow through, we felt disappointed because we were hopeful that it happened. And then we say, okay, what was I before? I was hopeful, right? I was happy. What was I before happy, right? Like, oh my gosh, I was whatever the emotion is. Before happy, I was elated. Okay, then what was I before elated, right? Like I was content. What was I before content? I was in a loving state. Whatever that looks like for you, right? That's how we make our way from hate to love. We don't make it in one moment. We make it little by little. And so again, I just wanted to remind you that when you surrender to what is, and what really is, love is, hate is not. And so that's why it's important for you to surrender to what is, right? Because love can cover a multitude of errors. Love is unconditional. Love is without condition. It doesn't matter what type of love you're talking about, whether you're talking about familiar love, whether you're talking about parental love, whether you're talking about spousal love, whether you're talking about the love of your children, sibling love. It does not matter. Love simply is. And so when you find yourself in a state of hate, which is not a bad thing, remember that hate is the absence of love. Love is, hate is not, right? Hate is without love. Love is sufficient. So give yourself permission. Give yourself permission to first sit with the hate and acknowledge the hate. And don't be like my mama who said, you better not say hate. And she meant well. I get it now. She meant well, right? Because we're conditioned to believe that hate is a wrong emotion. Not that hate is a strong emotion, because hate is definitely a strong emotion, but so is love, right? They're just different spectrums, right? Extremes, opposite sides of the pole. So yes, it's a strong emotion, but we've been conditioned to believe that it's a wrong emotion. And hate is not a wrong emotion. Hate has information that you need, but ultimately you need to remember that hate is the absence of love. All right. So I hope this was helpful. If you have found this short, I'm so excited because it really is short, episode helpful, then please share it with your friends, with family, with your colleagues, coworkers, or whoever else. Share it with everybody so that when we do deal with hate, that we know that, first of all, we're not bad people for feeling hate. And number two, that recognizing that hate is the absence of love. And so we make our way to neutrality, to neutral grounds, and then we move towards a state of love. So please share this episode. Thank you so much for taking the time to listen. If you have not checked out our other amazing episodes of the Healing While Discovering Yourself podcast, I would so love for you to do that. Tell your friends all about it, and then email me. Let me know your thoughts. You can email my team at hello@andreamichelle.com, and we would love to hear from you. Thank you again. Thank you so much for taking the time, and just know that the love in me salutes the love in you. Hey loves, are you looking for a safe place to hang out while you're healing with other like-minded individuals? If so, then I would love for you to join my private Facebook community called Healing While Discovering Yourself, named after the podcast. This community is for those who are truly seeking a safe place to heal and also show up authentically. If this interests you, then I'm going to invite you to go to Facebook/groups/Healing While Discovering. I look forward to seeing you in the group. Tony Robbins said, "The quality of your life is a direct reflection of the quality of the questions you're asking yourself." And that's why I'm inviting you to download my free guide called 5 Powerful Questions to Ask Yourself to help you take back control of your life. In this guide, you will learn how to shift your mood, break negative thought patterns, and identify beliefs and stories so that you can explore the truthfulness of these stories. Go to andreamichelle.com/powerful to download this free guide today.